So, John, you ever been to a 3D movie before?
Yeah, Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Doctor freaking Strange. John, what is it about?
Well, Doctor Strange is about Dr. Stephen Strange, a very popular, very successful neurosurgeon and surgeon in general.
Yeah, he's super good. And this movie's the latest installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And oh my gosh, let me just say right away, I was extremely surprised by this movie. John?
It was fantastic. I hadn't known much about Doctor Strange going in, but that is a fantastic superhero, let me say that.
Yeah, I had only read a couple of comic books before watching Doctor Strange, so I'm not super associated with him. And that's, I think, for a lot of people, they don't know who this character is. So this movie had a lot riding on it, because this is going to be a very integral part to the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward, and they did it excellently. They had so much riding on this film. It was such a different movie, too. It was so different from any of the past Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, and I applaud them for that. So, John, let's just get in right away. Let's just go into the positives.
The effects. I can't stress enough how amazing the effects were, and the 3D, that just made it so much better.
I can't believe you still wore that.
Yeah, that was sad.
No, yeah, the effects were incredible. I mean, it was really Inception-esque, and it's going to be compared to Inception a lot, but I'm not going to say either effects are better. This is a little newer, so these probably are a little crisper, but yes, the effects were tremendous. Definitely one of the best of the year, best I've ever seen. One of the best I've ever seen. For me, though, the Jungle Book special effects still are the best of the year for me.
Yeah,
just personally.
Yeah, and I think you have to see this movie in 3D. I can't even imagine what it would be like without it. Things just the way 3D works.
I'm not a fan of 3D either. Like, I'm not someone who's like, go out and watch it in 3D. I think it's a waste. But this movie is the best 3D I've ever been to. Honest to God. So I mean, some more positives. The performances. The performances were really good. Benedict Cumberbatch as Stephen Strange. He's born to play this role. Just like Ryan Reynolds was born to play Deadpool. Stephen Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch together, they're great. Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Just the way that Cumberbatch played Doctor Strange, it seems so natural and it seems so perfect.
Yep. Chiwetel Ejiofor, who was in 12 Years a Slave, who that movie is awesome. Should have beat Conaghay, by the way. He's great, too, in this movie as a supporting character. He's always so good. Rachel McAdams is kind of Stephen Strange's love interest. She does a really good job. Kind of a smaller role. Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One. From the trailers, I didn't think she was going to be that good. John, how was she?
I thought she was fantastic.
She was really good.
Yeah, the concept of like the Ancient One, for someone who wasn't familiar with Doctor Strange and his character or his kind of portion of the Marvel Universe, she just came to the role and just like the prowess she displayed as the character just like seemed so perfect.
Yeah, definitely that was a big surprise to me. Now, Mads Mikkelson as the villain. Now, Marvel has had some issues with bad villains, really unforgettable villains, other than like Loki and probably Thanos for Infinity War, probably pretty good. But again, this one, he was really good. Mads Mikkelsen is great. Love him. I can't wait to see him in Rogue One. But the villain, he played a cool villain, but again, kind of an underwhelming villain.
Yeah. I just don't think his character was on screen enough for us to really feel the attachment to him as a villain like Loki, who got I think 2 or 3 times more screen time.
Oh yeah, he was in there a lot. It kind of reminded me of the Guardians of the Galaxy situation, where the Guardians of the Galaxy, they were fighting this guy, but you're really, you're fighting this guy, but the big bad's Thanos. So you're kind of like at the same time when you're watching it, you're going, yeah, cool, beat this guy, but what does it really mean when there's Thanos? And that was now the bigger villain isn't Thanos, I won't spoil anything, but again, it's kind of like that where they're fighting kind of a smaller villain compared to the larger one at hand.
I definitely think that his character was definitely drowned out by the overwhelming evil in the universe.
Yeah. Now let's get into some negatives. John, what are your first negatives about the movie?
Well, past the villain, that was really the biggest thing for me. But I think other than that, I definitely think there were some points in the humor that didn't connect with me really well. Mm-hmm. I definitely enjoyed a lot of the humor, but there were just a couple of moments where it just didn't seem appropriate for the scene.
Yeah, the humor, they tried to mix humor into it, and for me, it didn't work all the time. Maybe well over 50% of the time, probably about 70-75% of the time it worked for me. But there was also a big reliance on exposition. You know, just kind of characters standing around telling Stephen Strange and pretty much telling the audience what is going on. Because we haven't seen this character and not many people are well known about him, we had to do that. And so that got all this time of exposition heavy, where you're telling everyone what's happening, and then the movie has to catch up with great action scenes and stuff. Yeah. It wasn't terrible. It was done better than many other superhero movies or any other movies have done before, but that was a slight issue.
Yeah, I will say with the action sequences, they started off with a pretty solid one, and then the exposition did describe everything that happened, and then applied that further later on in the movie. So I think like the sequencing with action events did really well. I just don't think there was a long portion of exposition between the first and second one that I think kind of dulled it a little bit for me.
The score was also really, really good.
Michael Giacchino, amazing.
So good. Oh, that was awesome. It reminded me a lot of actually the Avengers score. It was really, really good. Overall thoughts, John, concluding thoughts.
I haven't seen nearly as many movies as Sean this year. I didn't see Jungle Book, but I definitely think this is number 2, if not my number 1 movie of the year so far, out of around the 10 or so that I've seen. So I think it's a great film.
Yep.
I think the score that I would have to give it is a very strong 8.75.
Wow.
If you watch the what was the other movie I gave an 8.75? The Accountant.
The Accountant. Yep.
The Accountant was, I give that like a soft 8.75 because this one it still had its flaws, but I definitely think it was a stronger movie than The Accountant.
Yeah. For me, I was really surprised by this movie. I've been surprised by 2 movies in a row, which is an awesome feeling.
In 2 nights.
The Edge of 17, which is out last night. Reviews posted. Check it out, by the way. I was super surprised after that movie. Loved that. And I like this movie even more. I couldn't believe it. And yes, I realize Doctor Strange is not a perfect movie. It has its flaws. The villain, the comedy, the exposition. But now, this is just as of right now. I have to watch it a few more times. And I'm pretty big into the MCU. But this may be my favorite Marvel movie to date. Now, I love The Winter Soldier. I love Iron Man and the Avengers. Now, those... they're way up there, right? So this one's right up there with those. I got to watch it again, but I was just enthralled by this movie. For me, a score, I'm going to give it an 8.8 out of 10. Great movie. I recommend you go see it, guys.
Fantastic.
It was.
Mr. Doctor, it's strange. Maybe. Who am I to judge?
Guys, thanks for watching. That was our review of Doctor Strange. Please go out and see it. I urge you to. This thing's going to make a boatload of cash. Make sure to subscribe. Leave a comment on this video. Let us know what you thought of the movie. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter for more movie reviews and other type videos that are coming your way. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.